Hi, my name is Sally, and I'm in the New Media Journalism program at Full Sail University. This is my dog Rima. She's not going to stay here the whole time, but just hi, just to say hi. So I'm a dog mom. I'm a Christian. I came to know Jesus about a decade ago after years of mental illness and drug addiction. So I'm really passionate about sharing my faith and helping people get to know Him. I'm also a lover of nature, visual arts, being creative, and especially photography. So I chose the New Media Journalism program because I'd like to share Jesus in the media. I think that the media is currently really negative. It's a lot of focus on war and politics and turmoil in the earth, and I want to share what God is doing. I want people to know the things about God that they probably don't know, and that's His supernatural power. I really got to know the supernatural side of God when I went to rehab, and I started learning about how God heals, how people have angelic encounters, about the spirit realm, people going to heaven, people being raised from the dead, and these kinds of stories fascinated me. But when I shared them with my friends and family, they would kind of laugh at me and with unbelief. And so I remember my mom saying, "Well, if God is doing that, Sally, how come it's not in the news?" And it kind of stuck with me when she said that because it was true. Like, you don't really hear that kind of stuff in the news. And so I really want to use this degree program to put God in the news and make God famous and give people hope and light in a world that's just really dark and negative right now. So we're reading this book, Robert Greene's Mastery, and there's 5 strategies that he talks about for finding your life's calling. The first one's return to your origin. The quote that stood out to me says, "In order to master a field, you must love the subject and feel a profound connection to it." So I'm profoundly connected to God and sharing Him, but I also love photography. I remember when I was a little girl, I would look at these books of mammals, and there were pictures of the mammals with the descriptions underneath them, and I loved looking at those pictures and also reading about the animals. I also loved the photography from my grandparents when they would go on vacation, and they were documenting and sharing the stories about their travels with me. So I do have a profound connection to both photography and God. Occupy the niche is something that I think I really will discover in this journey of photojournalism, because it's combining my passion for God and sharing the gospel also with my passion for the visual arts and photography and just storytelling. Avoid the false paths was the third strategy that Greene talked about. And there was a quote in that section that said, "Because the field we chose doesn't correspond with our deepest inclinations, we rarely find fulfillment we crave." This happened to me because I pursued a career in ministry. I went and got my bachelor's degree in ministry, and then I started trying to look for a job in a church, and I realized that I really wasn't passionate about that. I was craving the creative. I was craving visual arts and photography, and so that was a false path, but luckily I was able to see that and change direction. Let go of the past was the next strategy that Greene talked about, and my insight from that was that my identity was not in being a recovered addict, and part of my story was going through that, but it's not who I was. And the quote that he said, "You are not tied to a particular position, your loyalty is not to a career company," resonated with me because I felt like I had to stay in that field. There's kind of this stereotype for people who go through recovery that they're going to also give back to that community and help others come through recovery. And I'm not opposed to that. I think that's something that I might do, here and there. And I definitely honor and appreciate people who do that. But it was a part of my past that I didn't want to relive all like day after day. And my identity really isn't in being an addict or being a recovered addict. My identity is in Christ. And so I had to let go of that past. Find your way back is the strategy that really is where you'll see my turning point story. This strategy, it talks about finding your way back to your path. And for me, I was so far from the path. I lost everything. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was passionate about or what I was good at. And the journey of getting to know God, going through recovery, learning about what God is doing in the world, and that was really my turning point. Leaving addiction and mental illness behind and becoming who God created me to be. So, yeah. Now I have 2 SMART goals for this month. I'm going to complete them by the end of this month. The first one is to create a web page, and my web page is going to showcase the photography that I do. I have experience in real estate photography, portrait photography, landscapes, cityscapes, events, So I want to put that on display, and I need a web page to do that. So I'm going to do that. The other thing is I want to get better at my camera. I have a Nikon D750 DSLR. It's a newer camera for me, and I haven't conquered a lot of the settings on it. I need to learn a lot. There's a lot that I want to learn with this camera, and so I am going to do at least one family portrait session by the end of the month with that camera so that I can hone in my skills with that. So those are my goals. Those are my insights after reflecting on the reading, and that is my turning point story. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to this course.